What's good, guys? So today's video is going to be on 5 things you need to know about freestyle calisthenics and just calisthenics in general. The first topic that I wanted to touch on that a lot of people I think don't really understand because when they're used to training, it's more on like the weightlifting side when it comes to size. So the first topic that I want to touch on is size versus strength. And so for freestyle calisthenics and calisthenics in general, there's a lot more athletes that are on the slimmer, skinnier end versus the really big and bulkier end. And there's a reason for that when it comes to a lot of the mobility and flexibility when it comes into the sport. Obviously, the more bulky you are, the less flexible and mobile you are to, translate that into freestyle and other, certain skills. It'll make you heavier. Not saying that it'll be impossible for you to do it, but it will make it more challenging for you to do it when you have more muscle mass on your body. And so that being said, you see a lot more skinnier athletes, still strong, just not working for the bulkiness, but they go into that the strength end for static skills, because static skills, they don't necessarily make you super massive, right? Like you're putting your body more under tension than you are within like just a rep, to say the least, where you're contracting the muscle, decontracting the muscle. It's more of time under tension in that sense when you train for your static skills. And so that being said, you see a lot more freestyle calisthenics athletes being on the skinnier, more lean and mobile and being an athlete. And so pretty much the reason why I'm touching on this is because there's a very big misconception when it comes into the fitness industry that, if you aren't, benching 2 plates or, bigger than the next guy, you don't know what you're doing type, pretty much that's how people think in the gym industry. But that's completely not true. You can take someone that has, double the muscle size or double the muscle mass that I have and tell them to do a muscle up, and they wouldn't be able to do a muscle up. And that's simply because, maybe it looks like they could do it because of their muscle that they have, the mass on them, but that's not always the case. It's actually it's what you train and the technique that you train in. And so if you only do, weightlifting, don't expect to translate that all over to calisthenics. And but the cool thing about calisthenics is it actually does translate over into weightlifting. And you'd be like, well, why is that? But the reason for that is because naturally in calisthenics, you're teaching your body how to be more flexible, how to be more mobile, how to actually use your body properly and master your own body weight. So when you take that over, your body naturally knows, okay, this is how my body's supposed to function, this is how my body's supposed to move. And so it's easier to translate that over to weightlifting in that sense because your body was already naturally moving in a fluid motion. Versus when you go to a gym and you only do machines, you'd be surprised, but if you're someone that only lifts with machines, you are missing out on all your stabilizers. All your stabilizing muscles are just completely being missed. And that's why another reason why you see a lot of people in the gym that train with machines and they try to go and they try to planche or they try to do any sort of skill within the gym or within calisthenics, they will tear a tendon. Now that wasn't my case. For all of you guys that know how I tore my tendon, that was a little bit more on the excessive extreme side. But that's why weightlifters, when they come over into calisthenics and they try to do these skills, they injure themselves because they haven't properly trained their tendons to be under that tension. And so weightlifting has a harder time translating to calisthenics, and calisthenics has a time translating to weightlifting. So that's kind of something I wanted to touch on for the first topic. Another one was, in calisthenics, the basics aren't so basic because you actually have to have a specific amount of strength or a certain amount of strength to get started within calisthenics. So it's like, yeah, there's breakdowns of things that you can do, but those breakdowns are still harder than picking up a really light weight and moving that weight, or curling that weight, or squatting that weight, or doing anything like that on the weighted side. So calisthenics is already starting you off at a harder point in the fitness industry and in training and in your health and everything like that. And so yes, it is hard, but the thing that I want to tell you as a professional is, the way to look at it is like this. Okay, am I going to be more proud of myself going in, challenging myself on every single rep? Because that's the one thing too about calisthenics versus weightlifting. You can try in your reps with weightlifting, but you have to like really try with your reps in calisthenics, especially when you train skills. And so with that being said, yeah, you feel better when you go into your workout, you're like, okay, I'm gonna try my hardest, even though it might be at a basic level where you might maybe just doing pull-ups, push-ups, dips, like all the foundational skills, because that's what beginners should be doing. You need to master those skills. Like I'm talking like months on end to like master that, because there's too many people that are like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. That's really good. Ambition's good, and if you're like anything like myself, you will push yourself a lot harder than you are at the stage of right now. And that's what can cause an injury, but at the same time, you know, if you're like me, you didn't really give a fuck. So yeah, but I'm just trying to put this out there that calisthenics, even though the basics are harder, you should really focus on them and take pride in being able to do those things, because that foundation is what's going to really help you translate into competing, or just being able to have the capabilities of doing some of these skills in the future and actually do them for a longer period of time than a shorter period of time, because you're reducing the risk of injury by getting your body fully prepared. So the other topic, and this is a big one, so freestyle calisthenics. So the topic is, fear is the biggest part of freestyle calisthenics. Now I say fear is the biggest part of freestyle calisthenics because yes, you know, calisthenics has its strength side. That's not scary. I don't care what people say about, oh, well, you could injure yourself or you could tear a pec tendon. Yeah, been there, done that. I'm obviously back and I'm chilling. So it's like, if you have a mental that's strong enough, you can get through that portion. When it comes to, you know, the freestyle part, there's a little to a lot more risk involved when it comes to throwing yourself around a bar, you know, flipping and doing all these things. And yeah, injury is at a very high risk, especially if you compete at a high level. And so with that being said, that's why I think freestyle calisthenics is so beautiful, because, and what actually got me interested into it in the first place, because it pushed my fear factor to where I was thinking to myself, like, okay, well, if I can push myself to do this, I can push myself to do this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then like it's like a domino effect, to where actually what happens to a lot of athletes is they go into the freestyle portion and they just get so obsessed with it, with unlocking skills once they get past that fear factor level, that they forget about all the strength. But and that's the beautiful part about freestyle calisthenics, is it makes you overcome your fears. And it's like a lot of people are just super scared to hurt themselves or to injure themselves or to fail in front of people. And you have to just be able to know, like, look, you only get places in life when you fail. You only get places in life when you're willing to take a chance. You only get there if that's what you do. And that's why calisthenics, freestyle calisthenics in particularly, is a beautiful sport. Beautiful. But yeah, Next topic. The progress looks slow before it looks impressive. And this is very true. It takes months. Like once you start, it's gonna take you about 2-3 months just to start really feeling like you're making a difference within your physique, within your mindset, within your progress. It really depending on how hard you go. You can achieve it faster than that if you really grind, like obsessively grind. But like if you don't want that obsessive mindset, like within that grind of getting healthy, unlocking skills, and doing everything you gotta do, then you have to manage it, take your time with it, and know that it's gonna take you 2 to 3 months to actually achieve something that you're impressed with. Not everyone else, that you're impressed with. Remember that. The only reason you started is because you wanted it. No one else. So don't even look for external validation within this shit. It is all you. Because who's gonna be there when you don't want to do something? Probably not your friends. Who's gonna be there when you want to do something? You know, if it's pursuing this, probably not your friends. I'll tell you this. Look, when I started, none of my friends trained with me. Not a single one. I went to the gym every single day in the morning before high school, before my school started. I'd wake my ass up fucking 3 in the morning and go to a YMCA because that was the first gym I ever fucking went to. And it was a half hour away from my house. And I would wake up in the cold. I lived in Minnesota. That shit was below 0. I'd wake up in the cold, hands between my fucking legs, like shivering. 15 minutes from the gym, my car would finally fucking heat up. And I would go into the gym and I would work out for fucking 2 hours before my school started. I would come back, I would shower, I would go. Like, when I say to people like motivation isn't real, it's not real. Like, if you want to achieve something great, you just gotta fucking want that shit. You gotta want it more than the next guy wants that shit. You gotta want it like you could die. Like, I woke up when I started this and I told myself, I want to do this because this is what I love. This is my passion and this is who I am. And so I made it that. But you got all these other people out here that are just like, oh, I want to get fit. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want a 6-pack. But they don't fucking do shit. And then they go and they eat fast food. They go back and they eat fucking pumpkin pies out the pan, boy. I love you. You know who I'm talking to. But, boy, you know, it's crazy. Because I've seen people change their life, such as myself, simply by just being willing to do it. That's it. No one else. All right, the last topic. Calisthenics is more than a workout. And it's more than a workout because it changes who you are as a person. It changes who you are. Because calisthenics isn't just, oh, I'm gonna train this. It's not just, oh, I'm gonna get this skill. It's, no, I have to go through endless trial and error and countless attempts to get just a few fucking seconds of a skill. You know how crazy of a person that you have to be to want to do this sport? You have to be so out of your mind to want it so bad that you don't even get paid for it. You gotta be insane. But that's the beautiful thing about it. Because if you're that crazy enough where you can actually tell yourself, I'm gonna achieve this shit, and I don't need money, I don't need this, I don't need that, I just wanna do it because it'll better my health, it'll better my mindset, it'll better the people that I live around and who I'm surrounding myself with, because it involves healthy eating, it involves a healthy mind, it involves a healthy, almost always optimistic mindset. Like, you have to never care about anything that's negative or bad. You can only achieve things in this sport to a certain level if you're just undeniably positive about what you can do and you believe in yourself. And so yeah, calisthenics is more than a workout. Freestyle calisthenics is more than a sport. It literally evolves people into pretty much top tier people. Top tier people. Top tier 1%ers. That's all what calisthenics athletes are. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I got a little deep and got a little real on some of these parts, but Instinct Calisthenics, 15 outfits, still available. But you know, I appreciate all of you guys. Thanks for watching. Link is gonna be in the bio. Go check it out. I hope you guys have a blessed day. Catch you in the next.